Starcraft, and I just downloaded this replay off of the Korean ladder. This is going to be a match between two tip-top Korean players, two GSL competitors. Spawning at the top right position, we have Leenock.fOu. He is our red Zerg player. Leenock is the youngest player in the GSL. He's only 16 years old, still in high school. He's 16 in Korea, and for those of you who don't know, Koreans actually measure age differently. Like if he's 16 in Korea, that would mean that he's 15 or maybe even 14 for the rest of the world. So yeah, Korea's special. They measure age a little differently, and just thought I would sort of mention that. Look at this early scouting probe. YongHwa here, got to introduce him too. The blue Protoss player from Team Incredible Miracle. YongHwa is also a GSL competitor. I haven't seen as many of his games as I've seen of Leenock, but I mean, he's a veteran. He's a Brood War pro. He actually played Zerg in Brood War, and here on Zelnaga Caverns, he's actually choosing to scout after putting down the pylon. Usually on two-player maps, you see the scouting probe go out after the gateway goes down. But yeah, just a little extra early scouting. I wonder if YongHwa was worried about Leenock going for a 6-pool, or I don't know, some other kind of crazy opening. Or maybe this is going to affect YongHwa's build. Maybe he's going to go for something different. We'll just have to wait and see. Not exactly sure. This Nexus actually rallied to the Vespian Geyser right now. That's an interesting way to go about that. You don't usually see that. But anyway, the probe here for YongHwa, just delaying the expansion for as long as possible. And that's always good to do. Very well worth it. Uh-oh, Leenock. Leenock. Very unfortunate. Kind of a gold platinum level mistake. You don't want to be losing any workers, especially this early in the game, especially when it is that unnecessary. I'm sure that YongHwa feeling pretty good for about himself, and this probe here now with full shields again. Gonna head back in for more scouting intel. Cybernetics core on the way, second assimilator on the way. YongHwa getting a pretty fast second gas. Could point us towards some kind of tech, but it's hard with Protoss. I mean, two assimilators, really no matter what the timing is, it could be one of many different builds. This pylon here, I'm pretty sure the probe actually got taken out. Yeah, the probe got killed by the Zerglings. The pylon gets cancelled there, and finally, at the nearly 4-minute mark, Leenock puts down his second hatchery. The queen just pops out as well, and back at YongHwa's base, he does have Chrono Boost going down on both Warpgate Research and a Stalker on the way. YongHwa really confined to his base. Well, we've got map control for the Zerg player. Leenock, no Zergling speed though, funny enough. Leenock has been mining gas for a little while now, but he doesn't have quite enough. Let's see when he gets 100 gas. Is he actually going to go for Zergling speed? He could get it right now. Yes, he is getting the metabolic boost as the Stalker heads out, just following those Zerglings all the way home. But, you know, doesn't want to commit too heavily with the Stalker. There's no real reason to. There's no scouting information that's sort of left out right now. YongHwa really knows everything that's going on. Of course, this pretty fast expansion. This sentry now going to be manning the ramp, having that sentry on hold position. Another sentry on the way. Warpgate Research still getting chrono boosted out. We do have a 3 gateway opening. Chances are we're going to see a robotics facility next. I'd say that's the most likely scenario, but you know, certainly can't be sure. I certainly haven't seen these replays before. The queen just stay on top of its injects in the main, and then this natural queen putting down a creep tumor as well. And now a pylon going up on the low ground as all the warp gates are sort of morphing in, and YongHwa going for an expansion. Okay, so pretty fast expansion from our Protoss player as well. I mean, there can be some really powerful timings off of 2 bases from any Protoss player. The metagame has sort of shifted a little bit away from this, but we'll just have to wait and see. Like I mentioned before, I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, keep an eye out for these force fields. Force fields, nice, pretty nice force fields, but they are going to force a cancel on this Nexus. Lucky he did cancel that. That would have been really bad if he just lost it. Actually have a Stargate on the way, so he could go Void Ray and then into 2 Phoenix with a Stargate, but again, I am just speculating. I've seen that being very effective against Zerg players for harassment. These Speedlings just continuing to be very annoying. We've got a Forge on the way, Roaches on the way, Evolution Chamber on the way. Still just 1 gas though for our Zerg player, Leenock. Still complete map control for Leenock as well. He's even got an Overlord here, keeping an eye on the Destructible Rocks for when and if YongHwa wants to take a third. Forge now complete on the low ground, and we do have 1 Void Ray on the way. Chrono Boost going down on that Stargate as well. Often we do see just 1 Void Ray in Protoss versus Zerg, and then you follow up that Void Ray with a couple Phoenix. We'll see if that's what YongHwa wants to do today. Yeah, it does look like that actually. He's getting 2 more Phoenix now, so there you go. I feel like a good caster calling that right. The Destructible Rocks now halfway dead. Leenock's going to be picking up a third very shortly. I really do like the creep spread as well from Leenock here. Pumping out just 2 creep tumors, and yeah, gradually getting that creep out towards the center of the map as Lair Tech is now halfway complete. And a second extractor on the way. No roaches just yet. It seems like, and you know what, Leenock doesn't need to make any roaches. He knows about the expansion that has gone up now for YongHwa, so Leenock knows he's safe just to build drones. And look at that, 8 drones on the production tab. We're gonna have a pretty heavy income and economic lead here. 50 drones to 35 probes. So as we sort of progress into the mid-game here, Leenock is going to really have a nice economic advantage as the third base now is complete as well. And here we go. We got 1 Void Ray and 3 Phoenix starting to do work at the natural. Oh, picks up the Queen. This Queen is going to get taken out. The Spore Crawler's doing a lot of damage though. 1 of the Phoenix very low on hit points. The Queen gets taken out. And so far, YongHwa's really just taken damage to the 1 Phoenix. Hydra Den on the way. Spore Crawler at the natural. Spore Crawler in the main. And we're just going to see if this is sort of a worthwhile investment. A ton of air units, though, coming out. 4 Phoenix and 1 Void Ray. Plenty to harass with here. Oh, it looks like that another Queen is going to get taken out here at the natural. Going to sort of put a thorn in the side of Leenock. He's not going to have his injects going down at the natural here. And how many? Just 3 Hydras out here at the natural, but now 3 more join at the main. And here we go. Ooh, those Hydras probably should have gone for the Void Ray. A little indecisive with the Hydras, unfortunately. None of these guys got any kills. These Phoenix now head over to the third base, and of course now vital scouting information. YongHwa knows about that third base. I think that Leenock might be kicking himself. He could have taken out this Void Ray if he had just chased them down. You know, Hydra's on creep pretty fast. These Zerglings going to get out of there, not going to want to engage. Such a diverse Protoss army, a little bit of everything in this composition for YongHwa. Leenock just playing very defensive. He's maynarding more drones over here to the third base, but he's got to be careful. At least, you know, one thing going for him, he's got good map control. He's got this Cell Naga here, and he sees that, sees the positioning of YongHwa's army. Oh, and look at that. Oh, these drones just barely escape, actually. There's only 1 drone that got killed there. It looks like Leenock is going to have to sack this expansion, and Leenock's going to go for a counterattack. He's going to put all these Zerglings in the mineral line, or at least he should. I think that would have been worthwhile. Oh, okay, never mind. He's got 4 Zealots there. I heard units warping in, but I didn't see the Zealots until the last second there. Yeah, you're not going to want to be going up against, you know, Zerglings versus Zealots. Never good for the Zerg player. So this expansion gets taken out. YongHwa clawing his way back into this game. He's fallen behind just a little bit economically. 68 drones to 47 probes. So, I mean, we're going to either see YongHwa pick up another base, possibly this third base down here, possibly the gold, or we're just going to see YongHwa line up a really strong timing attack off of 2 bases. But they're so, you know, there's a big army here for Leenock. He's got 9 more Hydras on the way. He's getting missile attack level 2. He's getting roach speed. So I think just sheer numbers, it's going to be just sort of what does it here for Leenock. He's got a very strong army, but you know, it's really close to call here. The supply is very close. Leenock is climbing though because he's got 3 hatcheries now, and with the injects, you can build just a ton of units here in the mid-game portion, mining off of 3 bases. This is a big engagement. Force field's going down, and the Zealots are kind of trapped in the middle of the Stalker Ball, but these Stalkers are doing a lot of damage. These Phoenix are just sort of looming. They can use their Graviton Beam to take 4 Hydras out of the equation. Oh man, bad positioning with those Phoenix. This is really bad for YongHwa. He just lost 2 Phoenixes for absolutely nothing, and YongHwa here continuing to push in, doing a ton of damage to Leenock. This is a very close engagement. This Infestor doesn't have enough for fungal growth. He's about 7 seconds away from a fungal. Unfortunately, bad timing on that Infestor. It's been useless up until this point. Let's see, is he going to use the Infestor right now? Yep, there he goes. Fungal growth, just what I was waiting for. Fungal growth does do a lot of damage, especially after the recent patch to armored units like the Stalker. But I just don't think it's going to be enough to save this this now 3rd base for Leenock. Leenock still has a slight army advantage, but it's not nearly as dramatic as it once was. The +2 attack for these ground Protoss units really proving to be vital. Leenock has +2 attack as well, but as YongHwa's Stalkers now head to the natural, is this going to be an overcommitment for YongHwa, or is this going to be worthwhile? Nice liftoff with the Infestor, but oh yeah, take out that Infestor. Very well worth it. Very expensive units, those Infestors. And YongHwa actually is forced back. No counter-attacking or anything like that for Leenock. I mean, it would be nice to see something like that, just a band of Speedlings or something, do some mineral line damage, but now both players on 2 bases, and YongHwa with nice blink micro, you can really increase the livelihood of your army and sort of the total damage of your army with nice blinks, and YongHwa has been doing just that. But finally, with this many Stalkers, with a couple Roaches as well, I mean, is it even going to be enough? Yeah, it looks like with the help of some drones and speed Roaches, YongHwa is going to get pushed back. Now 73 supply to 71, just barely favoring Leenock. This is such a close game, and a very exciting one, guys. I'm pumped. I mean, usually you don't see matchups this close, but YongHwa now slowly edging into the lead just because he's forcing Leenock onto 2 bases. That Infestation Pit going to get focused down as well. Queen pops out, gets one-shotted by all these Stalkers. Very unfortunate for her. The 3rd base for Leenock, once again reclaiming this 9 o'clock base, but there's not going to be any mining going on there. He does have it rallied down to this natural expansion, and I think the micro for YongHwa is just going to be too strong. I mean, Hydras are very powerful against gateway units, but YongHwa exhibiting just consistent, strong blink micro for like the past 5 minutes, just using that ability to, overrun Leenock, and just makes Stalkers so cost effective. You wait until their shields are gone, you blink them to the back of the ball, and let Stalkers with fresh shields take the damage. Really does work wonders. Idra has talked a lot about this kind of 2 base blink Stalker attack, in the mid game. YongHwa kind of hit maybe around the 12-13 minute mark with +2 attack on his Stalkers. It was an interesting follow-up to this Stargate. The Stargate very effective as well, with opening with that 1 Void Ray and then like 3 or 4 Phoenix, killing a ton of Queens, and YongHwa just continuously pressuring Leenock and putting the pressure on the right points, shutting down this 9 o'clock base, shutting down the 3rd base over here, and then finally pushing into the natural, which I wasn't really sure about. But yeah, it turned out to be a good call for YongHwa. He ended up on top. He beat a very strong Zerg player like Leenock, so it's pretty cool to see these 2 guys